She was rolled up inside a carpet and smuggled past enemy soldiers. On the other side of that carpet was the most powerful man alive. She didn't beg. She didn't cower. She walked out of that carpet as a queen, and that single moment changed the ancient world forever. But who was she really? Long before the carpet, long before the wars and the love stories and the legends, there was just a girl. She was born into one of the most dangerous families in the world, a royal dynasty where siblings murdered siblings and parents betrayed children. Power was the only currency that mattered. While other children played, she studied. Languages poured into her like water. She absorbed them one after another. She reportedly mastered close to 9 languages, a feat no ruler in her family line had ever bothered with. She didn't just want to rule, she wanted to understand every person she ruled over. That was her first weapon. She wasn't the first in her family to sit on the throne, but she would be the last, and the most remembered of them all. When she was still a teenager, her father's grip on power began to slip. The kingdom teetered on the edge of chaos. Then her father died. And just like that, the throne was hers, shared by force of tradition with a younger brother. Her brother was very young. His advisors were not. Those advisors wanted her gone. Before long, she was driven out of her own kingdom. She didn't run to hide. She raised an army. 2 armies now faced each other across the desert sand. A war was about to begin, but something else arrived first. The most powerful military force in the known world had landed on the nearby coast. Their commander was a man whose name alone made kingdoms tremble. She understood something that her brother's advisors had missed completely. This commander wasn't her enemy. He was her greatest opportunity, so she made a plan so bold, it sounds like fiction. She had herself smuggled into his quarters inside a rolled carpet. When the carpet unrolled at his feet, there she stood, not afraid, not pleading, talking. The general was captivated before she said another word. The alliance she forged that night was unlike anything the ancient world had seen. It wasn't just romantic, it was political genius. Her brother's forces were defeated. Her throne was restored. She ruled again, and this time, no one would dare challenge her. She presented herself not just as a queen, but as a living goddess. She dressed in the robes of a beloved ancient deity, a divine protector of her people. Her people believed it. She also had a son, and she made sure the world knew his father was the most powerful man on earth. This child was a political statement, a declaration that her kingdom was not just surviving, it was thriving. But fate is cruel to even the most brilliant minds. The great general, her greatest protector, was killed, and the world she had built so carefully began to shake. The empire that had protected her now turned on itself. New powerful men rose from the wreckage, and once again she read the room perfectly. She set her sights on the most magnetic of those new commanders. She prepared for their first meeting with the precision of a general planning a siege. She arrived on a golden barge, dressed as a goddess, surrounded by silver and music. Crowds lined the riverbanks just to catch a glimpse. The new commander waited alone in his hall. Every person had gone to watch her arrive. She had made a statement before even speaking a single word. Their partnership became one of the most powerful unions the ancient world had ever recorded. Together they ruled over vast territories. She bore him children. He gave her military strength, and she used that strength to push her kingdom's reach further than it had gone in generations. She dreamed of something enormous, a fusion of 2 great empires into one unstoppable force. But back in the West, powerful enemies were watching. They called her dangerous. They called her a foreign threat to everything they had built. The truth was simpler and uglier. They feared her influence over their commander. War became inevitable. 2 great naval fleets clashed on open water. The battle was catastrophic. The retreat that followed shattered everything. Her commander, broken by the defeat, made a choice she could never undo. He took his own life. When the news reached her, she was already surrounded. Her enemy's forces had reached the palace walls. Her kingdom, her dynasty, her dream, all of it hung by a thread. And yet, she refused to simply give up. She tried one final gamble. She met the enemy commander, the new master of the Western world. She tried to work her legendary charm one final time, but this man would not be moved. She understood then what was coming. She would be paraded through the enemy's capital as a trophy, a living symbol of his conquest, a queen displayed like an object. She would not allow it. In her final days, she wrapped herself in her full royal regalia, the crown, the robes, every symbol of who she was. She chose the manner of her own death. According to the most enduring legend, a venomous serpent was her chosen instrument. She died as she had lived, on her own terms. The last ruler of a dynasty that had lasted nearly 300 years was gone. Her kingdom fell. Her empire was absorbed, her line extinguished. But she was never forgotten. Her story echoed through centuries, painted by masters, written by poets, played on stages and screens, her face on ancient coins, her name whispered in halls of power for centuries after her death. She had done what no one expected, outlasted her own destruction. The last queen of her ancient line, the last pharaoh, and the most legendary ruler the world had never quite been able to put down. So let's go back to the beginning. A girl born into a dynasty of knives and crowns, who taught herself nearly a dozen languages before most rulers had learned to listen, who smuggled herself past an army to meet the most powerful man alive, who built alliances with two of history's most celebrated commanders, who sailed on gold barges, who ruled as a goddess, and who in the end chose death over humiliation and turned that final act into legend. Her intelligence, her courage, her will. These were the weapons of a woman who outlived her own destruction. Thousands of years later, we still can't stop talking about her. Thousands of years later, we still can't look away. So, who do you think this legend is? Drop your guess in the comments below.